Okay, welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man video. This is another video with the blue, white, red Delver deck that we've been giving a go. This time we're playing against Living End, so it should be an interesting matchup. Looks like we lost the roll here, so going to be on the draw here. See if we can get our opening hand up. Looks like we had a mulligan. Unfortunately I didn't quite catch that, but I think this hand looks fairly good. Fortunately no white mana to play the step links, but Delver and Geist. Yeah, I suppose we'll be needing a white source for this to actually become properly good, but I don't hate this hand. I think we're going to keep it. Unfortunately we actually draw into a plains here. No fetches for step links, but I still think we should run it out first. Arguably should have run out the Delver, but if we really want to take advantage of the step links, I think we need to run it out first. It's going to run out the Delver, and cycles a Twisted Abomination. There's a Fulminator Mage. No targets for it at the moment, which is nice for us. Usually we'd probably have something for it to blow up, but unfortunately we're probably going to have to play out this Steam Vents anyway. Kind of in an awkward position. Yeah, not being able to have any access to red means we can't Pillar of Flame this Fulminator Mage. Also we don't have a fetch to fetch up a mountain, so we have to use the Steam Vents. And I think we're just going to run out Geist. I suppose we're probably going to run into a Cascade spell into Living End, but if he doesn't have the Cascade spell we're in a really good position to win. So I think we just have to do it. I can't really see many ways to play around it. We don't have counters, and yeah, I think it's a bad situation, but it's probably the best we can do. We blow up our vents, take 3, down to 15. Passes the turn. Draw a Delver, which is okay. Attack. He has the Violent Outburst, as predicted. He gets to put in a couple of guys. Obviously not the biggest Living End of all time, but is pretty bad for us. Particularly as we had a Landlight hand, and now we don't have a red source. Get a fetch, so we can actually find our mountain. I'm going to Pillar of Flame his Fulminator Mage, but it's just not going to really matter. All a little bit too little, unfortunately. So despite our awesome aggressive start, I think we're going to lose this one. Avalanche Rider blows up another land, annoyingly. Remember rightly, we had Lightning Helix on top, so we could flip, but we can't actually play a Helix. If we had 2 more lands, obviously we could have actually won with a Helix Bolt. So it was somewhat close, but unfortunately his land destruction worked pretty well, and obviously having the Violent Outburst on turn 3 to wipe out our board was good enough, and unfortunately we lost that one. So let's go on to game 2. Sideboard, we're bringing in relics. I don't know what else we've got. Quick look. Yeah, so bring in relics, bring in Spell Pierce, Negate as well, I think, just to counter a Living End. So it's good to be able to counter that. Remand's obviously really good in this matchup. Remanding Living End back to the hand means I have to suspend it, which is pretty much as good as countering it. Yeah, I can't see anything else we particularly would want. I think I took out the step links. It's not a terrible card in this matchup, but I'm just not a big fan of step links really in this deck all that much. Wouldn't be the worst in this matchup, but at the same time it's kind of a lot of effort to get it going. Might have brought out the Grim Lavamancer as well. I don't think that's particularly great, but still reasonably decent. Spell Snare probably should have come out. I'm not sure if I did take it out actually, but Not a lot of targets for spell snare against living end. Actually, there aren't any, I don't think, because that would break the cascade, obviously. So yeah, this our opener. It's not the best in the world, but we've got Serum Visions, we've got Spell Pierce to counter an early living end, and Serum Visions finds us a Delver. Find a Geist and Electrolyze on top. Keep the Geist. I actually bottomed the Electrolyze. I should have probably topped it so make sure we flip this Delver, but that was a mistake, I think. Put his hand back down. So play with Delver. Can keep up Spell Pierce here. Don't think we'll need it, but because it's on turn 2 obviously, but in case we did, if we don't like what we see on top when we reveal the Delver, we can crack the fetch and show it away, but we actually found Remand, which is really good. Like I said, very good at countering a living end. Also flips the Delver, which means we can attack it for 3. We'll play the Sacred Foundry, Opponent cycles, attack for 3 again. Obviously we could play the Geist here, but at this point I don't think it's worth it. We've got counters for a living end, and although he doesn't have a great set of creatures in there, it's probably not worth the risk of just letting him resolve a living end. He then Beast Within's our Hallowed Fountain. We could have actually countered it with Spell Pierce, but I kind of felt that we were reasonably happy with having 6 power on the board. I don't know what he's going to do on his turn, but we can probably Remand it or Spell Pierce it and then hit him for 6, and he's practically dead from that point. We've got 2 Helixes in hand, so he would be pretty close to dead. He actually has an Anger of the Gods, which he's going to use. I'm going to try and Spell Pierce that. Remand seems like a better counter for a living end. Obviously he can, he's got more lands, eventually Spell Pierce won't be able to counter living end. Bizarrely enough, he actually has 2 Simian Spirit Guides in his hand, which means that we actually lose out there, and so that was a little bit regrettable, but it's unlikely that I was ever going to play around him having 2 Simian Spirit Guides in hand. I don't feel too bad about that situation, but it's not ideal for us now. Left in a slightly awkward position here. End of turn I'm going to Helix him. It does risk him just Violent Outbursting and getting a living end, but I think we kind of need to go for it. Otherwise we're just eventually going to lose out here, I think. I don't know if the opponent had Violent Outburst, but or just got greedy and wanted to get these Jungle Weavers in the yard, but either way it works out reasonably well for us. Goes for an Avalanche Riders. I'm going to Remand that. I know Remand is better as a counter for living end, but he won't be able to do it with 2 mana, and I really need to get something going. Drop a Geist here. I know that kind of tells him that I don't have counter magic, but I don't have counter magic, and I think this is the best sort of opportunity for us to win. Get him down to 4 here. I think the indications are that he doesn't actually have a Cascade spell as well, from the way the game's actually gone. And yeah, we had Pillar of Flame plus Lightning Helix, so we could actually win there and then after being able to strike in with the Geist. So that worked out pretty well for us. Fortunately we drew a red source in the form of Arid Mesa. So yeah, managed to be able to burn him out there. A little shaky to be honest, but got there in the end. I suppose Path is another card that could be taken out when sideboarding. Maybe that would be better than actually, but I don't know. Path isn't the worst, in that it can actually just get rid of. If they living end for a couple of creatures, you can just path them away if they're you know, particularly big. This hand I like. I've got double Relic, which is pretty good. and we got first turn Delver, so that seems like a nice little combination for play the relic. Should have played a fetch here actually, so we could have potentially shuffled away whatever we reveal up with Delver, if so required. Opponent's just doing some cycling. Managed to flip the Delver. I have Spell Snare, which is just completely useless, so I definitely should have sideboarded that out. Opponent plays Anger of the Gods. Actually not anything we can do about that, so unfortunately we lose the Delver here. But still feeling in a really good, reasonably good position. I mean, eventually he might be able to get something going with Avalanche Riders and things, but for the moment we're doing okay. Putting Beasts Within. I actually wouldn't have minded getting the Beast there, but allowing him to Living End seems pretty bad. I suppose we had the Remand, so maybe we should have just taken the 3/3 Beast, as that probably would have allowed us to beat down and win if he didn't have a decent enough follow-up. But I don't know. I don't know if it was worth the risk, so I blew up the relic, and it did draw us into a bolt, which is pretty nice. Interested to play an Avalanche Riders. I remand it. He's tapped out. I suppose getting to risk of the Living End, but we have this relic, so we're going to be able to clear his graveyard once more. And I don't think we're actually that worried about Living End at this moment. I don't think that's the way he's going to win really, but at this point he can actually just play out his like 5-drop creatures, which is obviously not so good for us, as they kind of outmatch our creatures, size at least. So he tries to play Street Wraith. I'm going to remand that, and obviously that pretty much wastes his turn. It also draws us a little bit deeper. We find Delver and the Serum Visions, which is a nice little combination. Going to be able to keep that Spell Pierce on top. Although Spell Pierce isn't that great a card, I would really like to flip the Delver. And if he's just going to play a Street Wraith on his turn, that seems pretty good for us. So we're going to be able to get into 3, put him down to 8, and pass. He has Anger of the Gods, which is going to kill off the Delver, unfortunately, but at least it got into 3. He takes a 3. I did consider bolting the Street Wraith. Obviously it's quite a bit of a threat now, and Kessig Wolfrun is going to make it even more so. But I think our best out here at the moment is just to draw another burn spell. Any burn spell is a winner basically. He's on 8, so we've got 6 damage with the Lightning Bolt, and then we've got Pillar of Flame, Electrolyze, or Lightning Helix, or another Bolt, which any of those could win us the game. He was an Avalanche Riders, should have played that before, so he could get in for an extra 2 damage, but didn't really matter I don't think. I could have cracked my fetches and popped my relic to dig a little deeper. Probably should have done actually, thinking about it, but fortunately we have a Helix on top, and that wraps things up. So Bolt, Helix you, and that manages to win us it. So yeah, decent matchup, few shaky points, but we managed to win through. Obviously our creature heavy side of the deck is maybe a little bit vulnerable to Living End, but if you can get the early damage in, combine it with your burn spells, then yeah, you're alright. Obviously Relic and other sideboard hate is always nice. So yeah, that was the match.